Hi guys, my name is Meets. This is going to be a review for the high resolution model Gundam Barbatos from the Iron-Blooded Orphan anime. And this is quite interesting since they're gonna incorporate basically inner frame that's die-cast, and you get to build it and putting on the armor. So it's actually quite a bit of expensive kit also. I think it's fetching around 150, but depending where you get it, it might go up or down. Mostly up. Well, we'll see how it goes. Here's the box. It is a little different from the 100 Barbatos kit, which is I think a little more compact. This one, they went with a bigger box. And onto the side here, gotta gives you a bit of detail. And they have that inner frame there, as well as the front of the box. Not much on the back side. It's kind of like a real great box. So here's the top. Here's to the side. And on this one, it's going to be the same weapons. We have the sword and the cannon. I wish they've added the mace. That would have been amazing. But that's that. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the box. Let's take a look inside. Inside, you're gonna get this sleeve, which holds the inner frame, or the Gundam frame here. That's quite nice. I like how they have this. And you just slide it out. You get your inner frame here. There we go. By the way, I got mine from Tatsu Hobby. As always, I got my mold kits from there. And this is quite nice. Alright, so here's the inner frame. It does look weird, but it does have a lot of cool details. From the pistons here, quite nice. You got the die-cast pieces here on the knee, the toes, even on the heel here. You get the pistons here, and they're working pistons. As you bend them, they close in, quite nice. You extend them out. Actually, this is probably a better look on that one. That's really cool. I like that. And there's plenty of them, even the elbow here. And even the shoulder. Just really cool. And just having the inner frame, it's really nice to have it on display. But again, it does kind of look weird. Now when you get this, or if you have a chance to inspect it out of the box, just make sure everything is intact. Make sure nothing is broken. And if you can, just make sure none of the paint are chipped off. Or I think I heard some of them even oxidize, since you do have the die-cast pieces here. I did a little bit of a scarf mark here, which is not too bad. I think I can use a Gundam marker. I think it's use the same gold here, or just leave it or pass it off as battle damage. And it's not too bad. Although I found that my left leg here was really tight. It's stiff. This one, you can move this, and I don't have much problem there. So that's fine, but this one was really stiff, so I had to put a little bit of oil. I use WD-40, which I'm not supposed to, but I don't have any other lubricant at home or in terms of oil. I should really need to buy one of those safer oils. I know it's really risky. What are you doing? It's a freaking expensive kit, but I put a little bit and I didn't get any reaction from the metal. Hopefully it is metal. I mean, I'm just putting oil, but it does loosen it up, and now I can do this without much problem. Although it's a little loose than what I wanted. I wanted it to be as tight as this one, but I think it's fine. So I just gotta spray just a little bit, wipe off any excess, and let it wick through the inner part, and that seems to work quite well. If it's tight, do not force it, because you might end up breaking this joint here or stress some of the plastic here, or just something. So be careful, and just if you have some kind of a what do I call this, non too intrusive oil, it should be fine. And there we go. So that's pretty much the inner frame. I mean, it's really nice, and I just popped that off. I gotta be a little bit more careful here. There we go. It's double. Oh, it's kind of weird. There we go. It's jointed there. But yeah, it's just a lot of cool details. I really like this. Got the right edging joint there, swivel, even that movable shoulder. Although this piston here on the neck doesn't do much. I think it just, yeah, it's just there. And you got pistons on the back as well. I'm not sure if they do anything. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, this is a really nice inner frame. And maybe this is the next step they're going for. But it is expensive. And we'll see if it's worth going for that extra or quite a bit of an extra money to get this. Anyways, that's it for the inner frame. I just want to go over it. And let me go ahead and build the kit and continue with the review. Alright, so after assembly, you're going to get something like this. This is the high res. This is the ball kit right here. This is the 100. And yeah, you're getting so much more, obviously, with the high res. A lot of great details. And I just want to point out some of the runners. You are getting quite a bit of the chrome plated ones, which are quite nice. So you get the blue one here. You get the red, and you also get the gold. Now, certain parts that are kind of like the knees here, the shoulder, there are pink parts, and it uses this the B plate right here, and it's actually, they coat the backside silver. That way, it kind of reflects more light. It makes it more vibrant, which I would have done anyways if they haven't done that. So definitely it's great to have a backing for clear parts of the silver. Actually, upon closer inspection, it's actually hard to emulate the high res based off or just using the regular kit and painting it. You can probably get it as close as possible with the color scheme and the paint that they use, but there's just certain details that, you know, it's quite different. For instance, the shoulder armor here, that's a bit of a different molding. Even the head, it's slightly different. And it turns out that V-fin, you keep on the high res. You don't need to swap it out, unlike the mold kit here from the base or the basic frame. And even the knees, it's slightly different. Yep. But it's quite possible. You can get it to this almost the same likeness. But again, it's gonna be quite difficult and not an easy thing to do. Alright, so with this armor on, it's quite great. I mean, there are a few things that are a little finicky. For one, the shoulder armor here does pop out from time to time, and I guess you just gotta really push it in, but be careful. There's a couple of things that might pop out while doing so. Things that you have to be careful for is this link right here, the brown part right there, as well as the joint there on the back side. It's a working piston, but with that, as I move this around, you are quite limited till that piston goes almost flushed, and that's as far as you can go with that. Otherwise, you're gonna pop this joint off. So basically, you cannot fully rotate this as if it were the normal mold kit. And again, this one you gotta make sure you gotta pop it in. Other thing I've noticed on the back side here, this is a working backpack. I really like this idea here. Unfortunately, the locking mechanism is not that good over time. Well, this is a heavy weapon here, but I do like that aspect that everything's in there. You don't have to part swap. And same thing here. And you can push this in, and there we go. So it's really nice to have that. They also have this one. I'm not sure what this is for. Some kind of I guess something to hold it for. I wonder if it's for the mace, and unfortunately we don't have the mace for this, like the first mace that he used. But you do have that movement there still, quite nice. And you can just take this out, get the inner workings on the back side. Although I can never get those things to move. It's just like it's designed there. And yeah. And you know, from time to time, it is a mold kit. Things does pop out unless you super glue it in place, which may not be a bad idea, since once you put everything together, it does look like it's a full kit, or sorry, a figure. And more so than that, it looks like a metal build. And while building this, it does feel like you are building a metal build, which is quite nice. Alright, so we kind of went over articulation already, but you know, just quickly going over it again. You know, this is nice, although this piston does get in a way sometimes, but it is in a ball joint, so you do have a bit of flexibility there. Then you got this chest here. There is a mechanism that allows you to kind of swing it back and forth, but I guess when you put the armor on, it doesn't let you do that anymore. Or maybe it is a movable frame, and if ever they make a Gushon, they might have to change the frame a little bit. It's not going to be the same as the Barbatos, as we've seen from the regular model kit. But you do have that movement there, which is quite nice. Although I cannot get that piston to really move as much as I want to. But those are working pistons. And you still have that ratcheting joint there, which is great. Yeah, it's really nice. Nice detail, and I really like that, the working pistons. So just revisiting what I did with this waist joint, I did add oil on it. I would highly recommend finding a milder oil. Try not to use WD-40, although I did use that one. Don't use it. Just to be on the safe side. Mine worked. Well, I guess you can, but just use very minimal. And yeah, that's just great. I like that piston right there. So you move it. And again, things does tend to pop up from time to time, but it's not too bad. Yeah. And let's see here. So this has a bit of a die cast, and it does give a little bit of weight, and it's great. It kind of gives it a bit more stability when you have him stand up. Even with the cannon on him, as you can see from before, he can stand up without much problem. Alright, let's go ahead and put on the cannon and the sword. And to do that, we gotta do some part swapping. So here we have the closed fist, and you guys probably see this one already, the open hand. This is actually quite nice. And for the most part, like for this one, the brown pieces are in two pieces. That way you could take this out here. Then you have this wrist joint here that is separate, which is connected to another piece right there, and you have the back plate, or the armor for the head. So in total, we have about 5 pieces just to make the head. Quite interesting. So for this, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the cannon while we're at it. And similarly for, or kind of like the mold, a regular mold kit, it does the same gimmick. Although this one doesn't go all the way up. Yep. And I gotta put this back here. Alright, so on this side, let's put this on here. The brown color still kind of puts me off. It's a bit odd that they've used that other than a different shade of gray. But it kind of grows on you, and it does complement gold in a certain way. So here we go, have it in that certain angle. So here on the back side, raise this hand up, and you can actually just mount this now right here. Push this out a little bit more. There we go. Slide it out. There we go. And this piston does extend, and it does lock a certain length. So that's great. And we just pop this joint out. I did find that the ones for what it comes up with does pop off, or the whole joint here does come off too. But the other ones, the ones you build, is actually just fine. Alright, so getting this to just the right angle, it could be a little tricky. There we go. I have a little hard time getting this right position as well. There we go. Alright, more or less. Yeah, let me fix that. Alright, so I got it there. And that wrist joint here, yeah, it's great. That helps a lot getting that certain pose. There is a sticker for the scope, but I just chose to paint it with my metallic green. Yeah, but I think that's the only sticker for this. Actually, could have. Well, actually, there is no metallic green tray, and if they have to do that, that might cost a bit more to do. Alright, so that's that side. Now for the blade we got here. The blade is quite nice. That nice, it's kind of hard to say. It is metallic, I'm not sure. Well, it's probably gunmetal gray. Yeah, really nice sword. Now for this, we have to grab this particular hand. Right, so I have the hand here, and to swap it out, you just gotta open this up, which I find a bit tedious. It's not like your Mel build where you have a flexible hand that you just slide in the weapon. So probably the best course on this one is just leave the hand there. Yeah. So anyways, we're gonna swap this out. There we go. It's great that it's quite easy to do. Sometimes certain mold kits, the swapping of the hand, it could be quite troublesome, but this one is just great. Another thing I want to point out, usually it's mounted on the left side of Barbatos, this sword, and it's drawn on by his right, and you can actually do that with the normal mold kit. But this one, as I mentioned before, it is quite troublesome because you cannot move the whole arm up because of the restriction with the shoulder. And yeah. So better yet, I mean, you can probably open this up and have him hold it in a certain way, but it just doesn't work the way you want it to. Well, but that's just a minor thing. More than likely, you're not gonna display him drawing a sword. So I think that's pretty much it, other than this last part here is the base connector. So unfortunately, this kit does not come with a base. They could have, but they chose not to, unfortunately. So they have this connector here, which actually works for Action Base 1, because you need that square peg right here. And you mount this underside, and it's a little bit tricky. Every time I do this, something pops out. And hopefully, okay, I got lucky this time. Right, let's do a certain pose. Have one knee up. I always try to hide that arm of the base there, if as much as I can, in terms of posing a kit or figure. Although this one, that's kind of extend a bit more, but for the most part, I try to hide it behind the leg. That way, it kind of gives it an illusion that it's jumping without assistance, or it's flying. So there you have it. That's pretty much it for the high-res Barbatos. Alright, and probably the next question is it worth getting this? And looking at this, I did spend about $150 on it. That's quite a bit of money. And that could have been a perfect grade Gundam, the ARC-78, or it could be another male build. I think the Freedom or the red frame is around that price point, 150 to 200, you know, just a little bit more. But those are ready to go, and they do have a base. For this one, you do have the joy of building it, and you know, after that, you don't really need to put any other paint unless you want to change certain things, or pan line. It's ready to go, and it's great. So there is a trade-off on that. But in terms of retaining the value, you always get to retain the value of a figure. Mold kit, not so much. Once you build it, that's it. But then again, someone might put an exception on this one. I mean, it does look great, and as long as you do proper nub removal, that's always the case for mold kits. Just out of straight build, if someone does a proper nub removal, you know, making sure it doesn't stick out or it doesn't have much of a stress mark. And this one, it's a bit tricky, since some of the chrome plated ones, it's actually quite nice how they undergate some of them, and some of them, even though they're on the edge, they're hidden. Like, you know, certain goals, they're on the other side, so you don't really see it, you know, from this perspective here, unless you really dig into it. So you need to have proper nub removal for this, and for me, I took extra care to do that. That way it'll look nice. And actually, even if you look at Robot Damashi or Metal Build, some of those have nasty nubs. So yeah, there you go. So that's why some people prefer mold kits, because if they have the patience and skills, they can make it a lot nicer than figures. Yeah. So there is a trade-off there, and it's really up to you if you have the budget for this. I would recommend getting it. It's something new that Bandai has created, and we'll see how well this does. Maybe we'll see more of the high res, and it definitely is a really nice, kind of like it's like a little bit of a jump going from mold kit to figures, because you get a bit of both. And not to mention, if you haven't had metal builds yet and you decide to get this, since you prefer building mold kits, yeah, this is a great way to try it out. Anyways, that's about it for this review. Hope you guys like it. If you have any question, particularly on this kit, let me know. Otherwise, again, I got this from Tatsu Hobby. I'll provide the link down below if you are interested. And that's about it. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.